as their pastime away from the social media, because as we say, physical activity is always better than digital activities, right?
And to top that, mental activity is even better.
Of course. And I think Rubik Cube provides the best platform where your mental faculties are engaged and at the same time you physically engage in that, right? So without any further ado, we are very glad that we have been joined by someone who has flown from Toronto, from the Canada. He happens to be a mechatronics engineer. He is Abdullah Gulab, and he is also the World Cube Association delegate. So we will further delve into his personality. But before that, Assalamu alaikum, Abdullah, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Abdullah, it's an immense pleasure to have met you today, really. Now, Abdullah, if we start our conversation, we know that you started at a very, very early age. When was it that you actually realized that, okay, I'm actually interested into this and I might take it as a serious hobby?
So, well, the first cube I ever got was from my mom. That was back in 2008 in Pakistan. But when I moved to Canada in 2013, that was exactly when I got challenged by my friends in high school that if these guys can do it and you're so good at math and these science subjects, how about you show us and that you can solve a Rubik's Cube? And obviously I didn't. So I went back, for a week. I learned how to do it, memorized a few algorithms, as you mentioned, from a piece of paper. And then one day I came and I started, solving it in front of them. But then I found out there was a club in my school, and then it just took off from there. I started participating in the club, and now here I am as a delegate for the World Cube Association.
And can you further explain and delve into, how does this association work if someone wants to join it? And, is there any prerequisites that a person needs to have for joining this club?
And how young does a person need to be? Because obviously there are many children who are interested.
So the beauty of the World Cube Association is that all the competitions are open. There is no age bracket. You can be as young as an age where you can solve the cube. That's the only requirement. You need to be able to solve it, all the way up till we had a grandmother and a granddaughter age 80 and 4 years old, competing together at the same competition in Canada. So there is really no barrier to entry, so to say, as long as you're able to solve a cube. But the thing is that when you're taking part in these competitions as a competitor, you just need to find the WCA website, see a competition close to you. It's easily searchable in your country, and then all you have to do is register and then just come over to the location. All details are provided. But to be in a position where you are organizing these competitions and delegating, that requires some commitment on your part, and obviously learning all the rules and regulations, because as a delegate you're responsible from start to end, organizing pre-competition activities, competition activities, and post as well.
All right. Also now, Abdullah, since you said you organize these events, right? How much energy does it take in doing so, and when did you learn that you actually want to organize such events? Was it because of a dearth of resources in Pakistan that you felt there is a lot of talent in Pakistan? Perhaps there are a lot of children who want to come into this, and maybe that's why you thought about getting into organizing these events?
There's a saying like competition breeds innovation. So for me, it was the competitive nature of this sport. I'm very competitive by nature because I do other sporting activities. My family as well was involved in sports and other educational activities. But then when I saw that in cubing, there are competitions, I can represent my country on a world scale in something I'm good at, even though it's a hobby or a game. And it might take some of my time, my free time. Maybe I won't watch that TV show for 1 hour or play the PlayStation back in the day for a few hours. I'll actually do something where I can go represent my country. So then I pushed myself, and this was back in 2017-18 when I came to that realization that I was the third Pakistani who ever competed in the World Cube Association.
I see.
Pakistan never had actually had a single competition. We're the 5th most populated country. And there are competitions in countries as small as Malta, Madagascar, which are a fraction of our population.
True.
So how did Pakistan not have a competition? And then I delved down into the history of why these competitions didn't happen, and it came down to no one was willing to put in the time and effort, and the support structure was not there. So my Canadian delegates actually helped me also, as the competition I'm hosting this week as well, including the ones in 2018 and 2019. And on top of that, my family supported me, friends, and even other delegates from our neighboring countries helped for the first competition in 2018 and then so forth.
That's wonderful.
And I think, so what, is there any a time duration in which you have to complete it? So what are the prerequisites for that? And I mean, you have to be physically present, right, in order to solve that cube, right?
Correct.
And that is happening in every country. So what are the formalities of that?
So, like I mentioned, you need to know how to solve it. Now, I have here 4 cubes, and I'll just pick up the regular 3x3. We need to be able to solve a regular 3x3 to take part in 3x3.
Right.
They all have rules and regulations.
Right.
As a competitor, you bring your own cube. We take it in the back to get it scrambled. You wait at a waiting station. When we call your name, you come sit down, and you have a scrambled cube just sitting there. And then once it's scrambled, it's covered by a box. And once we lift the box, you only have 15 seconds to analyze it, because we don't want people to cheat or have the opportunity to look at someone else's solve and then see how it is before they even do their own.
Right.
So then when it's scrambled, then they can actually, after 15 seconds, pick it up, start solving, and stop the timer. And then we give them 5 total solves, and we average out the middle 3. We take out the worst and the best in case they had a very bad time or in case they had a very good time. So we keep it balanced and take the average of the middle 3.
And what's the current record?
The current record so we have 2 things. There's a single, which is the best solve, one best solve, and then there's the average. There are always 2 categories for every event. There's 17 events. The world record for 3x3 single is 3.13 seconds.
Oh my goodness.
Held by an American individual named Max Park. And he's a teenager. But the average is held by a young kid who hails from China. He's 9 years old. His name is Yihang, and he solves it. The average is around 4.4 seconds, somewhere around that.
Oh my
I think you need to have a very intense mathematical brain for that to solve.
Imagine, Hajra, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. I would be on it the whole day.
I think if you talk about me, I would be on it for the whole week. What are you talking about, Jay? But Abdullah, so far, how has been the response in Pakistan particularly? Is it encouraging? How do you see its scope?
So, I know it's maybe not a good thing to say, but COVID really helped market many things on social media, and cubing was one of them. Back in 2018 and 2019, we had 28 competitors and 41.
Okay.
This competition in 2022, I had to deny 31 people. I had a competitor limit of 80. That's maxed out. And then I have 31 people who paid, and they were waiting for people to drop out. So we had 111 people who paid and registered. But I could not accept them because I'm the only delegate in Pakistan. And when we do this competition in Canada and around the world, we have tens of delegates. It's much easier to divide that load. With 1 delegate and 80 competitors, it's almost a difficult thing to manage, and that's why I had to limit that to a certain extent.
So are you holding any competitions in Pakistan? Because I know for a fact that you're here for this particular purpose, right?
Correct.
So where is this being held? How can people reach out to you if they're interested, their children are interested?
Of course. So we have a competition this Saturday. Registration is obviously closed. It closed last week because we need some preparation time.
Right.
But it's happening in Jinnah Supermarket in Islamabad and at Hotel Hillview. It's right next to one of the big malls there in Jinnah Super. And we were fortunately grateful enough to be sponsored by Hotel Hillview to have that venue for us for the entire day where we're hosting the competition. And it starts at 9 a.m. in the morning. That's when the first event is. And it ends at around 7 p.m. in the evening. And how they can get in contact? Well, we have an organization that's recognized by the World Cube Association called Cubing Pakistan. And we have all our contact details there, including the website, the links to the WCA page, where you can find my email if you just search it up, Abdullah Gulab, and my email address will show up, and a lot of other things will be needed to contact me as a delegate.
Right, and Abdullah, we have this particular stereotype, especially among the Western people, and it's a positive stereotype regarding the South Asian people, that they're maths wizards, they're very genius, they're very good in engineering or in the medical field. So do you feel, if you talk about this particular positive stereotypes about the South Asian people being the maths wizards, that they're more predisposed to solving the Rubik's Cube? What is your response on that?
I think we should embrace things like these. These are positive stereotypes, and if someone says that, okay, maybe you're good at cubing, you're also good at math and science, I think that's a compliment, so to say. If we start taking it negatively, then we might take everything negatively. So, yes, you might find more people who are math or science wizards that might do this, but you can find a fair number of other people who are doing sciences or arts and other things that are also involved in this for other reasons. Because you're not just solving it, there are people who are figuring out how many possibilities are there if you make just one move. How many possibilities are there if you make no moves? What's the fewest number of moves to solve a Rubik's Cube, right? Or people paint murals. I have around 1,000 cubes back in Canada, which I recently ordered because I like to build murals.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you can be an
Amazing.
art major, you can be a science major, you can be involved in cubing in multitude of different ways.
All right. I once was trying out a cube, right? I went to YouTube and I was, looking through the algorithms. Okay, I'll
You were looking for the cheat
definitely,
sheets, huh?
yeah, the cheats, right? I'll definitely learn it today. And I just could not find one particular method. And you just mentioned that people are looking for other ways and means how to do it. I mean, I don't even know the terminology here.
Solve.
Yeah. So, do you think there is one common way of doing it, of solving it, perhaps if you want to even try?
So, like you mentioned, there are many different ways, and there's some that are faster than others.
Uh-huh.
But speed does not equal efficiency. So there's some methods that you might solve in the fewest amount of moves, but it might take you an hour because you have to actually figure out everything in perfect detail. But the most famous one is called the CFOP method, which means cross, F2L, OLL, and PLL.
Okay.
That's the name.
That's super
And-
scientific. Okay,
Yeah.
explain it to us.
Once you get into it, you understand what OLL is, like orientation of the last layer, permutation of the last layer, and all of that. So this was invented by a woman named Jessica Friedrich, and some people call it the Friedrich method. So it's the most common and easy to learn method which you'll find online. And then you have other methods that other people use that as one-handed is an event in cubing.
Right.
Some methods are easier for one-handed, so you can move the cube easily with your left hand.
Oh my God.
I'm righty and my left hand moves faster because it's like my fidget spinner, so to say. I'm writing or working on things with one hand and I'm solving this on the other.
That's very interesting. I think you need to have an extremely mathematical and logical, and I think nowadays when we talk about the social media, so one of the victim, or I would say the fallacy of the social media is that our attention span has really shrunk, right? But when you are solving this Rubik cube, you need to have an intense attention because within few seconds you have to solve it, and that requires a lot of intense mental faculties invested in that particular game or hobby, or how would you define it? But now,
Because, Hajra, I once was talking to my child and I told him, okay, Shahzad, you're too young to understand this. I regret saying that now because as Abdullah was telling us, that there is no age limit. The kid he was talking about in China, he's, I believe, 8 years old.
9
Yeah,
years.
no.
I regret saying that to my child now because he's 8.
Yeah.
And I told him, okay, when you grow up, you'll do it.
I think kids have a very strong intuition, gut feeling, and we need to trust that because it is more stronger than the adults. But now, Abdullah, let's tune in into your life and then let's explore other aspects of your personality. So you are a mechatronic engineer, and I can understand that, and I can see that you have a mathematical brain, and that is why you're so good in solving the Rubik cubes. But like you said, that it's not necessary, right? You just need to have a passion for solving that. But so far, how has been mechatronic engineering, and why did you particularly choose this field?
Well, from a young age, I had a passion and I wanted to do something that related to space, because when I see birds in the sky, they're free to move, to travel to places, and they're high up, like an eagle. There's nothing higher than an eagle when it soars. So that was my passion, and when I went to Canada, I got involved into aerospace. My first 2 years were in aerospace, then I specialized in mechatronics and solid mechanics. And I was involved with the aerospace team at my university, where I traveled with them to New Mexico, to New York State, and around the continental United States to launch rockets. And then our team also built satellites. We actually were one of the first student teams that launched a satellite in space,
Oh, that's interesting.
which had a experiment regarding bacteria that develops in our stomach, and they wanted to just test how that would affect astronauts. If they take a lot of bread, for example, in space, how would that affect their digestive system?
Yes.
So that was my interest. So when I got involved when I found that there's an opportunity for that, obviously I went head on into that. And then over there as well, it's just that the frequency of finding people who do things that have a bit of math or statistics behind it is more common in engineering than it is in other fields. So that obviously garnered my interest.
And we also know that you are also interested in different other sporting activities. Could you also highlight those before we wind up?
Of course. I used to take part in, when I was young, in swimming competitions. I used to win gold medals and silver medals quite a bit. I got trained in tennis as well. My father himself he's the national badminton player in International Empire, so badminton has been a big part of my life. But then some of the things I got involved in were horse riding as well and chess, which obviously comes back to, when Rubik's Cube or mental sport.
True.
And I competed in Canada as well in chess in my province. So I did put my hands in a lot of things, but cubing became one that took more time than others just because I saw a passion for it. And it's, as you mentioned, you have to train your mind as well. You need mental activities. There's physical and then there's mental. You have to have a healthy body, healthy mind. It's a balance.
True. Well, first of all, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much.
And viewers, now you know that you can always Google the name Abdullah Gulab, and I think you'll find his email address. You can get in touch with him. And you can also go on the website of WCA, World Cubing Association. If you or your child is interested, because there is no age limit, you can do it. And you should do it, because in this age and time, we need such mental activities which would engage our mind in